Do you hate JRPGs? I don't think you really do, and I can prove it. Hey, it's Just the Gems. I'm Brandon, and despite dedicating so much of my life to the JRPG genre, I frequently find myself at a loss when someone tells me they don't like JRPGs. When I ask them why, they'll say things like, oh, I don't like anime, or I just don't enjoy using menus to fight, or it's none of your business why I don't like them, now get out of my office or you're fired. That last one is maybe just specific to my boss. But look, I get it. There are a lot of games out there vying for your attention, and if you can write off an entire genre sight unseen, then you can potentially save yourself a lot of time. Well, I've got some bad news for you, because I'm about to hit you with 5 JRPGs that even dedicated JRPG haters will fall in love with. Now, these are my picks, but if any JRPG lovers out there have others you think should be on this list, drop them in the comments. And please send this video to all those people you've been trying to get into JRPGs. If we work together on this, we can make some converts. All right, let's get into it. Is this a bit of a dirty trick, starting this list off with one of the most beloved characters of all time? Yeah, so what? This is Street Rules. We do what works. Super Mario RPG was one of the best JRPGs on the 16-bit Super Nintendo, and out of nowhere, Nintendo gave us a complete one-to-one remake for the Switch. It's amazing how beautiful this game looks and how well it holds up today, despite having mechanics that are literally older than a good number of you watching this video, statistically speaking. The great thing about this game is that you know a lot going into it. You know who Mario is, who Bowser is. You're pretty well acquainted with the princess, and you know she's pretty constantly surrounded by mushrooms. You also know that Mario's main verb is jump. He's Jumpman. The dude loves to jump. This game takes that basic knowledge that's been imparted onto us by basically every Mario game in existence and expands it all to give us so much more. Now we get to see corners of Mario's world we never could before. The towns full of weird mushroom people, the forests crawling with extremely irate caterpillars, the Cloud Kingdom with weird bird-obsessed women. It's colorful, it's fun, it never takes itself too seriously. But of course, any Mario game lives or dies on its gameplay, and that's where Mario RPG really shines. When Mario encounters an enemy on the field, he and his friends jump into a battle scene. And yes, these battles are turn-based, but not in the way of like 8-bit Final Fantasy. Battles in Mario RPG are all about timing. What's that? Timing? Isn't that the realm of action games? Not anymore. Mario RPG broke a lot of us turn-based obsessives out of our shelves by forcing us to get good way back in the day, making us practice our timing until we got it down pat. See, an extra button press at just the right time will significantly increase the power of your attacks, so it behooves you to spend the time to really learn how to nail it. There are a ton of special moves for each character to learn, and putting together the perfect team is super satisfying. You've got Peach on buffs and healing, Mario on jumping, and Mallow on devastating bolts of lightning. Who could beat that? Of course, if it were just one battle after another, it would be an Oscar-nominated film starring Leonardo DiCaprio. It would also barely qualify as a JRPG. It needs a story, and Mario RPG is really the first time the Mario series gave us a proper story. And it's hilarious. Seriously, this is one of the first overtly comedic JRPGs I ever played, and it is genuinely hilarious at times. Watching Mario pantomime his way through communication is a freaking delight. You just have to experience it to really understand it. Yeah, Mario RPG is a bit on the easy side, a bit on the short side, but it's the perfect gateway into JRPGs if you or your loved one can't get into them. It's-a-me, JRPG! I apologize. That was cringe. I'm sorry. Please don't stop watching. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch might stagger you with its scale. This is a game about people living on the bodies of two giants who apparently died while in battle eons ago. Does that premise make no sense? Well, fair enough, but it works. It tells the story of your average small town kid who winds up with a sword that shows him the future. Unfortunately, it doesn't usually do it far enough in advance for him to be able to take his time changing things for the better. It's usually sort of a last-minute thing, like, oh, you might want to help your buddy over there. He's about to just get absolutely slaughtered by an evil robot. See, the people on this giant are at war with the Mechons, these nasty robot dudes from the other giant. When they come and obliterate his village and scatter him and his friends to the wind, they have to pull together to set things right and bring an end to the conflict forever. This is one of the things I love about JRPGs in general, and Xenoblade Chronicles in particular. Just the sheer audacity of the storytelling. The ideas presented, the setting, the characters, they're all just absolutely bonkers. But Xenoblade plays it straight and delivers such a compelling narrative. I won't spoil any of the specifics, but I do want to highlight the more highbrow nature of the storytelling here compared to most games. This is a game and a series for people interested in philosophy, who want to think about big ideas while they're demolishing mechs. It's never heavy-handed, it doesn't get in your face with its themes, but they're all there and all ready to be explored. Speaking of exploring, you need to get ready for this world. This is a massively open game with so much land to cover and so many optional side quests to undertake if you so choose. I guess that's what optional means. A lot of those quests involve combat, naturally, and this is an area where Xenoblade dares to be different. The combat in Xenoblade isn't turn-based, but it isn't quite action either. It's sort of a hybrid, or maybe it's most accurate to describe it as MMO inspired. When you engage with an enemy, your character will automatically attack at regular intervals, just like in MMOs. The strategy comes in the form of special moves. You have an array of moves on screen that you can choose and execute at will, with cooldowns for each that bar you from just spamming your most powerful move over and over like a cheapskate. You're not a cheapskate though, so you'd never do that, right? I mean, I would, but I have to imagine you're better than me. Oh, and like I mentioned, you have visions of the future. Did you think those were just going to be relegated to cutscenes? What's wrong with you? How could you think that? No, you'll have visions in mid-combat, which will grant you a short window of time to avert a nasty future for yourself or your friends by pulling off the right move. It adds an extra wrinkle of complexity to the proceedings, and using the right move at the right time can make or break an encounter. This game doesn't feel like any other JRPG to play, and its story is downright unique in the field of video games in general. If you're open to a gigantic and lengthy experience that will make you think, this is the one to try. Okay, real quick, before we continue, I need to share a quick word from this video sponsor, FlexiSpot. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time at my desk. Who am I kidding? I'm pretty confident in saying that you also spend a lot of time at your desk. For a long time, I tolerated my setup because it just wasn't something that I ever gave that much thought to. A desk is just a desk, right? Then I discovered the FlexiSpot CyberX gaming standing desk, and it made me reconsider a lot of things. Like, why do we wear shoes on our feet, but not our hands? Why do we pour milk on cereal and not coffee? Why do we use a toothbrush when we've got a perfectly good kitchen sponge? Well, it turns out that those three things were actually fine the way they were. Definitely no need to overthink those. But my desk setup is approximately 10 trillion times better since I grabbed the CyberX. There have been a lot of innovations since the first cave person took a slab of rock and set it on 4 tree stumps and created the 9-to-5 office job. For example, this desk can move. I'm sure you've all heard that sitting all day long is just straight up not good for our bodies, so you'd think working at a desk all day just means inevitable back pain and poor health. But the CyberX will raise and lower smoothly and quietly to the perfect height so I can stretch my legs while I work, and then get right back to slouching in my chair while I play Digimon Story Time Stranger. This is a gamer-focused desk too. Just look at the control panel that handles the movement and LED lights. Charming as heck, right? I love it. Oh yeah, the lights. I've only just started incorporating LEDs into my game room, and the sides of this desk glow in a variety of colors that I can pick with a joystick. It just does a ton for the ambiance of the room. And the carbon fiber textured tabletop can hold a lot of weight. This is the part where you put in the comments that I can't possibly weigh all that much, I look so svelte, etc. You can adjust the wording to fit your style. But it can support up to 352 pounds, so it'll handle even the most ridiculous gaming rig. Oh, other innovations I didn't realize I needed are the built-in headphone hook and cup holder. All this time I've been spilling my drinks all over my keyboard and mouse for no reason. The included cable organization also helps keep things looking tidy. In my case, I have to say, tidy for me, because there's only so much anyone can do about the mess that is Brandon from Just the Gems. One other thing, I hope you're not still using a monitor stand. If you are, just think about how much desk space you could reclaim if you could just get those stinky monitors up off there. With FlexiSpot's dual monitor arm, I can keep 2 monitors floating effortlessly over my desk, which helps me avoid clutter and actually feel comfortable working. Like, this is all usable space under here now. I love it. I can move them any way I want, orient them however I like. It's perfect. If you want to upgrade your gaming setup and support my channel in the process, check out the link in the description to grab your own CyberX desk and monitor arms. You spend a lot of time at your desk. Make it the best that it can be. Thanks, FlexiSpot, for sponsoring this video. All right, back to it. This is maybe the JRPG you were expecting to hear about. Persona 5 Royal is often thought of as the great equalizer, the JRPG that made non-JRPG fans sit up and take notice. Well, maybe that's a role that we'll have to start sharing with another game coming up in this video, but for now, we'll just say yeah, it sort of has filled that role, and it's pretty easy to see why. The presentation of Persona 5 Royal makes it extremely clear that this game is loaded with style, and the 100 plus hours of gameplay show that it's got substance to spare too. And it's not just 100 hours of battles. There's actually a really complex and involving story populated with a ton of characters that are all so fantastic. You're basically guaranteed to find several you'll love. Gameplay is divided up between dungeons and slice of life segments. Dungeons are pretty much what they sound like, except brilliantly designed and absolutely enormous. It's very unlikely you'll ever conquer one in just a single trip, which means resource management is key to getting anywhere. The slice of life segments involve your teenage main character going to high school, hanging out with friends, and doing stuff around the city. All these tasks feed back into the core gameplay by giving you new skills and stat boosts, so it all feels really connected to the rest of the content in a way so many games just can't pull off. The gist of it is, some really crappy people are out there in the world being crappy, and it's up to you and your friends to set them straight. You can do this because you have the power of persona, which essentially means a bunch of mystical creatures that are born of your subconscious come out and kick monster butt. Each of your party members has their own persona, but as the main character, you get to collect as many as you want, and you can even create new ones by combining them together, giving you a new persona with the best skills and stats of both. It's a pretty addictive gameplay loop, but addictive in a good way, not in a you're gonna spend all your money on this sort of way. You just have to buy the game once. Oh, and I mentioned hanging out with friends as a key part of the game, and it's about more than just improving your stats. Each major character has their own separate subplot that you get to partake in if you want, though you'll have to keep in mind that you only have so much time in a day. Choosing what to do and when is huge in Persona 5 Royal, and it adds a ton of replay value too, so you can go back and make different choices to see more story. This is one of the few JRPGs to get major mainstream attention, and for good reason. It's a masterpiece, and it will almost definitely get you hooked on the genre. And if it doesn't, this next one will. Okay, before anyone comes at me about Clair Obscur Expedition 33 not being a JRPG because it wasn't made in Japan, let me ask you, does French toast have to be made in France? Does German chocolate cake have to come from a German bakery? Or, in those cases, does the nation merely act as a descriptor of a particular style? Japanese role-playing games share many qualities that differentiate them from what we would call Western role-playing games, and it's those qualities that determines the game's genre, not the address it was made at, which, if you think about it, is literally the least interesting part of how the game was made. All right, with that out of the way, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is the most awarded game at the Game Awards in history. And if you ask anyone who's played it, they'll tell you why. It's just incredible. Almost every single thing about this game is a perfect 10. The graphics, the gameplay, the performances, the music, my God, the music. Expedition 33 came from a relatively small team in France, and they did something truly remarkable with this game. So why is it one of the best gateways to JRPGs for non-fans? Because no matter your preference in things like gameplay or story, you're gonna find something appealing in this game. It takes place in a world that's under yearly attack by some entity known as the Paintress. Each year, she paints a number on a monolith, and everyone who is that age dies. And every year, the people send out an expedition in order to bring her down and save their world. They've all failed, but I mean, you're the main character, so you're probably gonna win, right? Well, let's just say the journey is worthwhile either way. The first thing that'll catch your eye is the visual presentation. I mean, obviously, that's how eyes work. But good God, this game is beautiful. It's ethereal and topsy-turvy and just straight up one of the most unique settings I've ever seen in a game. Your team is made up of a bunch of people who have very little time to live and therefore very little left to lose, and they all run headfirst into action. And it's brutal. The combat really shines in this game, and it does so by taking a cue from Super Mario RPG, of all games. In battle, you use timed button presses to either dodge out of the way of enemy attacks, or, if you're feeling tough, parry them. The window of grace for dodging is pretty wide, but you've got to be basically spot on in order to parry, so there's a real sense of risk versus reward that makes each battle really engaging. The nice thing about all this for beginners to the genre is it's not hard to wrap your head around it. It's hard to master it, sure, but people who play games generally are fine with mastering their skills. It's simple, but brilliantly layered. And look, I mentioned the music already, I sort of gushed about it a little, but I need to full-on gush for a minute. This soundtrack is incredible, it's gorgeous, it's some of the finest music ever put in a video game, or a film, or anywhere. This composer is a genius. Like, go buy the album, it's worth having that on its own. Bottom line, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is one of the finest achievements in video games, not just JRPGs. If you give this one a chance, you will be on board. I guarantee it. This is my second time talking about Nier Automata on this channel in as many weeks, and it's really making me want to play it again. But I have to resist. I've got so many other new games I've never even played once that I have to get to. That's just the life of a content creator, but for 99.9% of you, that doesn't apply. So you should go play Nier Automata immediately. Seriously, I don't even care if you turn the video off to go do it. Just go do it. This is a masterpiece from genius creator Yoko Taro, and it's as much a narrative tour de force as it is a masterful game design showcase. So Nier Automata is technically the sequel to Nier, which has a very good remake called Nier Replicant that you can also play, but honestly, it's not necessary to have played that to enjoy Automata. There are a few cool Easter eggs, but this game takes place so far in the future that narrative ties really don't matter all that much. So yeah, in like the year 12,000 or something, humanity has evacuated the Earth due to alien invasion and left behind an army of androids to fight for them. That battle has waged on for generations with no end in sight, and in all that time, both the androids and the alien robots have begun to change. They're experiencing things that look an awful lot like emotions, and they're forming things that look an awful lot like societies. You play as an android named To Be, which is an on-the-nose reference to Shakespeare's to be or not to be line from Romeo and Juliet, meaning we're about to get existential up in here. To Be and her partner 9S battle against the robots in some of the most over-the-top set pieces in modern gaming, including a boss fight that feels like a final boss in any other game, but is literally just the tutorial boss. It's crazy. The gameplay is fast and frenetic, and it crushes any worries that you might have about a game with a deep story also having turn-based combat. Though you should give turn-based a chance, come on. And it's not just sword slashing and laser firing, you're also thrust into entirely other genres from time to time, like bullet hell shooters and the like. Nier Automata is a truly outstanding piece of entertainment, and the story it tells is gut-wrenching. It manages to make you feel some incredibly strong feelings for a bunch of machines, and that's storytelling well done. Now's the perfect time to jump on board the Nier train too, since it seems likely, based on some hints we've gotten in recent weeks, that we're going to be seeing more from this series pretty soon. So, if you didn't listen to me and stop watching this video to go play Nier Automata, do it now. The video's almost over. Anyway, I'm just going to say goodbye and plug my stuff. I always talk about how I want the JRPG genre to expand, but in order for that to happen, we have to introduce new people. So that's why I wanted to make this video. I hope that if you like JRPGs and have people in your life who don't, you'll consider sharing this with them in the hopes that they find something they connect with. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't and like the video. And if you're in the market for a new desk, check out the links in the description because they'll let you get a new desk and support my channel at the same time. Anyway, I'll catch you later. Bye.